toddler may have come to a tragic end. East Point police believe a body discovered at the East Point transfer station is that of 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell. This afternoon, police discovered a child's body at the facility on South Martin Street. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live at the scene with the late-breaking details. Deidre.
And now it's a heartbreaking end to the search for that missing 2-year-old. Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office and East Point detectives on scene here at the East Point transfer station, where this afternoon a child's body was discovered. That child's body believed to be that of missing 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell, whose father falsely reported he'd been kidnapped exactly 1 week ago. Now, if you look behind me, you can see that East Point police are posted at the entrance here this afternoon, monitoring traffic coming in and out of the facility. We're told trash from across the city of East Point is dumped here before it is transferred to a landfill in Griffin. Police say the body has been out in the element for several days, and while investigators suspect it is that of the missing child, they say a forensic pathologist is going to have to identify the body. Now, last Wednesday, Josiah's father, Artavius North, reported the boy was kidnapped by armed robbers in DeKalb. Police say he lied about the kidnapping. He was arrested, charged with making a false statement to police, and just earlier this week, police named him as a person of interest in the case. Now, East Point Police Chief Sean Buchanan was informed at around 1:30 this afternoon, as we wrapped up an interview with him, that his detectives were responding to this location. Before today's tragic discovery, the chief said North was being uncooperative.
Well, I would tell you there are several of his family members who are very forthcoming, and they've tried to talk with him and pleading with him, tell the truth. I would tell you that his family is just as concerned about the child as the mother's family. It's just he is not being cooperative.
And then just after that interview, the developments here earlier this afternoon that a child's body had in fact been located here. Investigators said they expected that they'd be on scene for another 2 to 3 hours out here today. The investigation has taken, sadly, a dark, tragic turn. That's the latest here in East Point. Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, heartbreaking doesn't even begin.
Hey, black women, this little boy, Josiah Mitchell, who's been missing for like a week now and reported like a week and change ago, I guess, like when the father actually killed him, and then lied to police about the child being kidnapped and taken by gunpoint by 2 dudes or something like that. Like, this is the type of stuff where, as black women, you have to take care of your children. And it starts by not having children with these black males. Stop doing it. I really don't understand why y'all are still doing this. Why y'all are still in relationships with them when, how many times are we gonna watch a story about a black woman like the young woman that died the other day, where she had recently married this dude, found out that he was a homosexual. He's an unemployed piece of shit that she was basically taking care of, and he killed her, shot her as she was trying to run out the window, right? She did everything right. She got her order of protection or restraining order, and divorced the asshole, or was beginning the divorcing procedure, separated from him and all that. And then he came back to her house, and she, being like most black women, stop letting these people in. Stop being kind to them. Get rid of them and get just as savage as they are. She let him in. She's being kind. He kills her with her own gun. And all of this stuff is because you guys just want to keep finding reasons to deal with these black males that are not worth your time, and who have already told you 1,000 times over, plus shown you through the amount of black women they kill by black femicide, and now they're killing the children rapidly too, because they're basically bums that don't want to have any responsibility. Now, you know he killed that little boy because of child support and because he didn't want to be a father. And instead of just being the true derelict that he was, and just leave the little boy with his mother take off into the world and never be found or contacted again, he decides to kill the precious little child, 2 years old, and leave his body at a facility for people to find him. I mean, the fact that this child suffered unnecessarily and then died with such a feeling of betrayal it doesn't make any sense. And this is why black women, to avoid all this type of stuff, stop messing with them completely. Stop dating them. Stop marrying them. Stop going into relationships with them. Stop dealing with them, period. Because all they want to do is hurt black women and children. Like, it's so ridiculous. And you should not have that low of a self-esteem to the point where you feel like you have no choice but to deal with these bums. And it doesn't matter, believe me when I tell you, it doesn't matter where they come from in life socioeconomically. They're all bums and something wrong with them. For instance, right, I'm gonna tell y'all about this supervisor that works with me. That is not my supervisor. He's like 7 other black women supervisors I know. This dude is always having them run around the office like they're his pet, like basically treating them like dogs in the office. And they're stupid because they go for this instead of just all coming together and filing a multi-mask or conjunctive or joined fucking sexual harassment complaint against this motherfucker and get him up out of there, right? They sit there taking him, calling them all types of inappropriate names on the job, like sweetheart, honey, dear, sweet thing, all this inappropriate stuff. Like, for those of you idiots out there who may hear those terms of so-called endearment and you think that that's acceptable, according to federal law, it is definitely not. Okay? State law as well. So don't take that shit. Make an anonymous complaint to freaking EEO in your, in your job or whatever, or just straight out tell them, like, look, you breaking all parts of the employee conduct policy. Like, you gotta back off me with trying to order me around like you're entitled to police me, because you're not. That micromanaging stuff doesn't get no play here. I'm told my assignment, I'm big enough to do it and not have you on my back or coming to check on me every 5 minutes like I'm special. I don't need you doing that. And you have to start sticking together and standing up and dealing with these people, because they're everywhere. And I'm telling you that story because this dude, let me tell you, with me, they just came to my office space, right? Because they're from another part of the company I work for. So the very first day he got there, he was staring at me trying to get my attention. Me, I don't work with him. I don't have any dealings with him. So why are you trying to have conversation with me? Well, it's because they feel like they have such a level of familiarity with all black women and a sense of entitlement. They feel like you're obligated to speak to them. You're obligated to acknowledge them. You're obligated. I'm like, nah. I just look, whatever, turn my head, keep going. He got so aggravated with that, y'all, that when I got into the elevator with him and it was just me and him, he huffed and puffed because I didn't say thank you or didn't get on and say, oh, hello. And I don't, first of all, I don't need you to press the button for me. I can do it myself. When you call the elevator and it opens, that's the elevator opening the doors for me. It ain't like you got to turn a knob and pull it. So there's no need for thank you. And there's no need for small talk if I don't want to give you none. So I'm telling you all this because they have this whole thing where they feel like they're entitled to us and they feel like they get to tell us what to do because, once again, they don't have any power in society. So they take it out on hurting black women, hurting and killing children. And the only way you make it stop is when you stand 10 toes down on the fact that I am not dealing with y'all. I'm separating myself from you completely because you out here killing our children. When you have them for visitation, you're killing them when you're allowed in the home with them, supposedly as the father. This is the whole reason why when I did that video the other day, and I told you, look out, be prepared, get yourself ready for the election, because you have all these people running around with this false narrative about how the black community is in such shambles because there's no father in the home, because there's so many things at play, agendas at play with that. It's not because they're really worried about the black community. First and foremost, they want all these bums that are ending up literally laying in the gutter to get out of society. And so they feel like they just gonna scoop and scrape them up and throw them in some black woman's house with her children so that he could kill up her and kill up her kids, and they killed 25 birds with one stone. We're not going for that. And what I also want you to do, black women, is stop listening to people like Women's Fear and others who are on here talking to you about to send your boys to their fathers. This is the type of shit when you allow your children to live with their fathers, visit with their fathers, and you know their fathers are not shit to begin with. You don't want to keep playing with your child's life. Now, it's a whole different story if you have an actual custody situation or you have a visitation situation where you have to fight this shit out in court. And if you do, then that's what you do. Fight the shit out in court. Fight it out to make sure that you get supervised visitations. He can still see his kid, but he can never see the child alone. That's what you have to start doing. Because this is the crazy stuff that is going to start coming out more so because it's starting to get cold. It's an election year. So all these Republicans and other people who wouldn't otherwise think about these situations that happen every day, mind you, all the time, because it's not beneficial to them when it's a non-election year, they don't care about it. They don't even speak about it. But because they're going to use it now to attempt to try to garner votes for them to get in office, now you're going to see everybody talking about what goes on in a black household, because you know they're forever trying to use us as a scapegoat to try to make it seem like if they could get a handle on our wild so-called behavior and lives, they'd be a great leader for whatever position it is they're running for. How we live has not a goddamn thing to do with the fact that you don't create jobs out here for the poor person to have to eliminate crime. You don't create educational systems that actually educate the people, instead of dumbing them down and having them stupider than how they started out, not being even able to qualify for the basics in college entry exams or jobs that would actually give them the money they need to live a decent life. That is not black people's fault. That is the greed and the dismissal and the ignoring of black people by white America. The very ones that are going to be on every platform come October, end of September, into November, election time, waving their hand and talking about how they're going to be tough on crime and this, that, and the other thing, when you need to be tough on giving a motherfucker a job. You need to be tough on making sure that when children have to go for visitation with other parents, if one parent, the mother predominantly, is saying, this guy has exhibited extreme violent tendencies in the past, please give my child supervised visitation long enough for either a psychologist or sociologist, therapist, whoever, to sit with all the parties long enough, especially that absent parent, to make sure that my child is safe. Because you can't really tell what a person is going to do deep down inside, but if you watch them long enough, you'll get a genuine amount of information to make a really good determination. And a lot of these dudes, they flip at the first thing because they have no impulse control, they have no maturity, and they cannot ever deal with rejection. So please stop. I am so almost heartbroken by watching beautiful black women get their lives taken from them every day by losers that they're marrying, having children by, moving in with, when they know from the start that this dude is a piece of trash Leave him in the gutter. And if you gotta be by yourself, please be by your goddamn self. Or pick another type of dude. And I'm not promoting no white guy. Sorry, that was my neighbor. I happen to like her, so I had to tolerate that. But, you know, it's like, please don't do it, okay? Just leave them alone. You be better off, right? Like I told y'all before, getting some women you cool with, some friends, whoever, relatives, home sharing with them, getting your money up, living a good life, going away, safely having one night stands, and living your life. You do not need to claim anybody, because when you try to get rid of these motherfuckers, they act like their world is coming to an end. And 9 times out of 10 it is, because they don't have shit in this life. So stop dealing with them. I gotta go. Please. You can make all the difference in little black children, stopping the killing of them, and stopping the killing, the black femicide of black women. You can make all the difference in the reduction of deaths in children and black women just by not dealing with black males. It's really that simple. And not letting any males into your home around your small children. It is really that fucking simple. And for those of you that think somebody's trying to kill your joy or keep you from being loved, and you're a fucking idiot. And you are the person that will end up on the 5 hours list because you're so insecure and shit that you can't just live your life and realize that these dudes are no fucking good. Oh my God, they're going off tonight. God damn. Alright, bye. Please, y'all, do better by taking care of yourself and your children. People are dying unnecessarily, all because of the dumbass choices the wrong black women are making. You don't have to sleep with these dudes, and you damn sure don't have to have a child by all these motherfuckers. Stop. Leave them alone. Treat them like fucking leprosy or the plague. Stay far the fuck away from that shit because you don't want to catch it. Good night.